2018 became a landmark year for Ukraine. We got our church back, increased our military potential, and consolidated our positions both at the war front and in world diplomacy. But just 4 years ago, few dared to look into the future. The one and only task was to save the country from a full-scale war and stop the Russian aggression. The fifth column tried to disrupt the mobilization of the people in every conceivable way, but it suffered a crushing defeat.
Треба захищати батьківщину. В Україні війна. Хто це буде робити? Як там один не піде, інший,
We must defend our homeland because the country is at war, but one will not go and another one may not go. Then who will go? I don't want our children to go to war. I don't think that some young kid going to the front and getting killed will make me feel safer. That's not what I want. Volodymyr Korol is a sergeant of the armed forces of Ukraine and participant in hostilities in Donbas. He was born and raised in Kyiv, where he now works as a children's swimming coach. In his youth, he was among the most talented Ukrainian swimmers. When he was a teenager, he met his future wife Olha at a swimming pool. After many years of living together, the Korol family had to pass through a difficult test in 2015. Olga admits that she kept asking her husband to think carefully before going to the military recruitment office. But Volodymyr was unbendable in his decision.
Я зараз скажу, що було дуже важко. Особливо
I can admit now that it was very difficult for me. In particular, I could not calm down, and sometimes I could not get a grip on myself. I often had temper tantrums, and all that goes with it. Volodymyr did not talk much about what happened there. In general, he's not very talkative. The 2S-1 self-propelled howitzer, which is better known as a Gvozdika, was the combat vehicle that Sergeant Korol was assigned to serve with in the combat zone. He was the commander of the howitzer. All the firing from this vehicle was carried out under his strict guidance. Unfortunately, this difficult task was eventually bound to have an impact on his overall health. Essentially, being present near a shooting gun in a combat situation is the same as getting a concussion. The only difference is the injury is to a lesser extent. That is because the shock wave of a shell explosion and, say, a 152mm howitzer shot is roughly the same. There is a widely believed opinion that a concussion is a brain injury resulting from the impact of a shock wave, but most medical experts affirm that such an opinion is erroneous. The sound of missiles and shock waves affect the human body, and it is not just the brain and central nervous system, but also the internal bodily organs. In other words, it would be correct to say in medical terminology that this is a chronic acoustic trauma for the human body. Being close to the howitzer, Volodymyr was given the command to fire at the enemy positions dozens of times. Over time, he started feeling fatigue, apathy, and general deterioration of his health. The situation was complicated by the fact that it was impossible to determine the cause of such trauma out in the battlefield. Wounds that take too long to heal weaken a person's immunity. Such phenomena as depression, emotional blunting, mood swings, impaired vision and hearing can be caused by disorders of the human body's central nervous system. Volodymyr's amnesia worsened and he started needing more time to recall the chronology of a particular event, as well as certain facts, figures and numbers. Numerous concussions also had external manifestations, mainly in the form of skin diseases. He called me and said he was being taken to the hospital, as he was feeling very bad and had to take a lot of pills and injections. But he also said that everything was under control, that he was conscious and that I shouldn't worry. My body began to rot, my skin, my internal organs, and my stomach. My condition got worse, but after medical treatment I managed to return to my combat unit and continued my military service. But that did not last long, and I was eventually demobilized in March 2016. Upon returning home, the once strong and ambitious athlete felt like an old man. Volodymyr Korol swam from a young age, trained in Olympic reserve schools, and graduated from the National University of Physical Education. He didn't give up on sports even at the front. Volodymyr did physical exercises, and when the situation allowed, he went jogging in the morning. Then, when it seemed to him that he should have given up sports for good, he learned about the Invictus Games. These are known as the Games of the Undefeated for former and current military personnel, which Ukraine has also been taking part in since 2017. And the news that our compatriot rewrote the history of swimming competitions in Toronto forced Korol get out of bed and take part in these competitions. He saw the Invictus Games competition when Pavlo Budayevsky won 4 gold medals, and he said, "It's just wow, I should give it a try too. Why not? Budayevsky won 4 gold medals for our country. He made our country famous at the international level. I want to do the same. I will definitely try to do the same if I get the opportunity and my physical state allows me." After a long pause, Volodymyr returned to the swimming pool. He took part in trials for the 2018 Games of the Undefeated and began to train for the national selection. He did not even notice how quickly he started getting stronger. His muscle memory did its job. At the same time, the former confidence and faith in his strength was revived in the Ukrainian hero of our program. People experience strong emotions in childhood, as well as everything connected with the activity that was performed in the moments of life when they were happy, which is the key to restoring factory defaults, like the eponymous function in phones. If a person who had already been a swimmer returns to the kind of activity that their body is already used to, all the neuromuscular connections are built up and the muscle memory remains very strong. Then they enjoy continuing to engage in such physical activity. Water is his element. Korol's results in training were excellent. Even in the presence of strong competitors, his academic swimming style attracted particular attention of swimming coaches. I have no idea how he did it. I noticed that during qualifications, he moved slowly in the 50-meter freestyle course, but swam fast at the same time. The purpose of the national selection was determine who would become a member of the Ukrainian national team of 15 athletes and perform at the Invictus Games in Sydney. The level of competition in a sport like swimming goes through the roof. But Volodymyr Korol got his emotions under control, showed excellent results and thereby earned a license for participation in the Games of the Undefeated in Australia.
Я ніколи не мог представити, що у 37 років потраплю до складу збірної України.
I could never imagine that I would join the national team at the age of 37. It was great, of course. For me, it's not a challenge, but a responsibility, because I represent Ukraine and Ukrainian soldiers in the time of war. It's very pleasant for me that I was selected. It's nice to know that I'm worthy of being a member of the national team.
У час війни це дуже приємно усвідомлювати, що тебе відібрали, що ти достоин цього, якщо тебе відібрали. Тобто я так сприймаю.
If you want to be the best, you must work with the best. Our swimmers Volodymyr Korol, Viktor Shinkaruk and Bogdan Oksentyuk built their training on this principle. So they collectively decided to train together and spar during the preparatory phase of training before the games. After all, healthy competition within the team only benefits the common cause. Sparring during training and competing amongst ourselves definitely helps to prepare better for the ultimate competition. Yes, it is physically draining and psychologically stressful, but at the same time, it's better in terms of preparation. I would even say that it's super good.
Для підготовки це, якнайкраще. Тобто, все супер.
Opponents on the swim lane and friends outside. When in Australia, Viktor Shinkaruk and Volodymyr Korol asked to stay in the same room. After all, the manifestation of team spirit, rehabilitation after combat wounds, diseases and injuries is what matters most, and only then count the medals and the highest results in sports competitions. It was our decision to stay in the same room. Moreover, we asked to have our wives stay in the same room as well. That demonstrates that we are one team, not rivals. Going to bed before the final start, Volodymyr Korol said, "Don't worry, Victor, everything will work out fine, and in the end we will go home with the victory." And then he quietly fell asleep. The trio of Ukrainian swimmers comes to the lanes during the qualifications. They compete with each other and opponents from other countries. In almost all disciplines, Korol, Shinkaruk and Aksentuk made it into the finals. They all sincerely support one another.
Він так само за мене вболівав, як і я за нього, і за нашого...
He supported me as much as I did for him, our teammate Aksentuk too. We were a team, and not knowing our opponents, we dreamt that when we would swim the 50 and 100-meter crawl courses, they would take the first and second places, and I would finish third. That would have been a fantastic picture, Ukrainian swimmers in the first, second and third places.
Посяду третє місце. От тройка, і це буде дуже гарно виглядати. Україна перше, друге, третє місце.
The rivals were very well aware of the strength of our team. The bar that Pavlo Budayevsky set high a year earlier kept bothering the opponents, especially the Australian swimmers. The Australian team was not about to give up in their national sport, especially at home. The local favorite Tom Foster was the first to perform. In the end, this athlete won 5 gold medals and set an absolute record of the championship. But our Ukrainian guys still showed excellent results, winning 6 awards of various denominations for Ukraine.
Я готувався, що буде досить висока конкуренція, незалежно чи то був один австралієць, який виграв.
I was preparing for strong competition. It wouldn't matter if the Australian won 5 gold medals or someone else. I was determined to get the best results. But he was able to train even better, and that's why he achieved better results. So it went, and that's how it went.
Може, ще краще підготувався і показав ще кращі результати, тому так сталося, що золота не взяв.
We didn't win a gold medal in swimming, but at the same time, I don't think that we were worse than our rival in some way, or in terms of the results we achieved. I'm quite confident that if I had trained as hard and as effectively as he did, then he would have had no chance of beating me.
Аби я мав можливість готуватися, як він, у нього б не було шансів.
Він досить сильний, і те, що ми з ним боролися...
He's pretty strong, and because of the fact that we competed with him and teased him a bit, I think he was afraid of our national team of Ukraine. After all, in all the competition categories, the crawl, the breaststroke, and the backstroke, we were constantly breathing down his neck.
Кролем, як брасом на спині, завжди ми в нього були на хвості.
The result of Volodymyr Korol is 2 silver medals in the 100-meter freestyle, the 50-meter backstroke, and a bronze in the 50-meter freestyle. He set personal records in these competitions, and at the age of 37, he managed to prove to himself that he is a truly undefeated swimmer of the highest level. I wanted to raise our Ukrainian flag as high as possible. I did it, by the way. Even though I didn't win the gold, I still did it. During the awarding ceremony, I was the tallest among the winners, so I raised the flag higher, just like I wanted to. So although I didn't win the gold, that was absolutely the most pleasant memory for me. After returning to Kyiv, the 3-time winner of the Invictus Games remained loyal to the sport. He feels much younger than his biological age today and plans to participate in competitions. After all, there are still so many records to be beaten, and Volodymyr Korol has huge potential to achieve this ultimate goal. He started working out hard, and this helped him develop a strong sense of purpose in his life. All these efforts have a positive impact on his physical and emotional state of mind in our family relationships. The kids are seeing that their father is a very strong and capable athlete. He recovered after returning into sports, which is very typical for people who have found their purpose, started recovering emotionally, and returned to a normal life. This is a very good example for others. Soon Volodymyr, like his mates of the national team Viktor Shinkaruk and Bogdan Oksentuk, will try his hand at the Masters category competitions, as well as tournaments for veterans, the doors of which are open for everyone who makes their choice in favor of living a better and healthier lifestyle.
Це, такий формат змагань, де може прийняти участь.
It is a competition format in which everyone can take part. You don't necessarily have to be a swimmer since childhood like I was. It also motivates you to do something instead of sitting still, staying fit and taking part in competitions in different places. So all it takes is participation, being distracted from the daily work routine and engaging in some form of active physical recreation that is beneficial for the mind and body. The Invictus Games became the guideline that helped these war veterans find themselves and make qualitative changes in their lives. There are no losers here, only winners. The next Games of the Undefeated will take place in the Netherlands in 2020. We're quite confident that Ukrainian war veterans will represent our homeland in the land of tulips with great honor.